personal business while working with your team? If you're like I was, it's really hard for me to get excited about that sometimes. I love working with my team in my personal business often, and used to really feel like a chore. And that's a really big problem if you have this goal of building a big team, okay? Because we know that we like working with our team, so we want a bigger team, but we also know that personal business is necessary, we gotta do it. And it's really a problem if this is your goal, and if it's not, that's okay. But raise your hand if it is. Is it your goal to make $100,000 in 1 year? Look around. That's awesome. And if it's not yours, it might be somebody on your team. So, we are not going to look at our personal business that way. Our personal business is not something to be maintained over here, separate from when we're working with our team. So, you need to treat your personal business like a model that you need to replicate 6,300 times in 1 year with the help of your team. I know it's a very specific number, I'm going to get to it at the end. But treat your business like a model that you're going to replicate. In the fall of 2017, I was in a total funk. I was not seeing my team grow, I was not seeing my income grow the way I wanted it to. I hired a personal business coach, and one of the best things I got from her was a conversation about my personal business. She was on me about my personal business. I was like, I don't want to do my personal business, I want to work with my team. And I told her there was such a small percentage of my income from the previous month. It was less than 2% with a full party calendar that my personal commission was. Like, why would I spend in your personal business? Like, it takes some time. Why would I spend my time on that instead of helping my team? She said, you're totally looking at this the wrong way. You need to, when you're working on your personal business, build your team. And here's how you're gonna do that. She was like, don't ever do a party without 10 people in your central group shadowing that party, sending them screenshots of your host coaching going, okay, I'm about to send her this is what's happening behind the scenes. You know, every time you have a party, have somebody shadowing that. Every time you have a victory in your party, share it on your team page. If you have somebody who's having some trouble with RSVPs, getting their RSVPs up, wait for your next party where you have that problem and be like, girl, you need to get in this party. She's not inviting. I want you to see what I try to do and we'll see if it works together. Because I shared that with some of my leaders and said, have your team always shadow your parties. And you know what they said? What if I have a bad party? They're gonna see me having this total, I'm like, great. Just like Robin said, like they need to see that like sometimes we do all the things and we still have bad parties, but they're going to see us put the work into that party first hand so that we can try and make what we can out of it. So, also, when we're working our personal business and we have people seeing us doing that, shadowing us, that's going to give us the confidence and the knowledge to then go and coach them on theirs. It also makes me try a little bit harder. So instead, we are going to think about our personal business this way. If it's your goal to make $100,000 a year and grow a big team, how to exponentially grow your team and your income by designing, engineering, and producing parties through leaders. None of this maintaining stuff. Okay, so let's look at someone, one of my favorite people, outside of UVM, who's really good at doing this. Elon. Does anybody have a little crush on Elon like I do? I get sucked into the YouTube interviews, and he's great at this in a lot of different companies, but one of them is Tesla, and that's the one we're going to talk about. So in an interview on YouTube, someone asked him, how do you spend your time at Tesla? And he said, you know, everybody thinks I'm just going around on a private plane, doing interviews, doing business meetings on my computer, managing. He said, I'm in the factory. I am working on design, engineering, or production 80 to 90% of the time. And then he proceeded to take him into the factory and get in there with those car parts and everything that was happening and talk about problems that they're having, that they're working on, and how he's helping other people to work on those with him. And he's not much different from us book ladies. I know, it seems like he is, but he's not. And we're gonna talk about how. So here's what he does. He designs cars, and you got the wheels and the doors, and he's trying to engineer them to make them faster and more efficient, more affordable. The way he produces these cars is in factories through robots and also human workers, both. So we have 3 products. We have the business, we have parties, and we have books. We design training, we design host coaching, we design party content. We're always engineering them to make things simpler, more relatable, more valuable. And we replicate those, the business and parties products through online, through human consultants. We do not have the advantage of being programmed by our upline like Elon's robots. And so our job's actually harder than his. Here's another reason that we are a lot like Elon. He was asked, how do you get people excited about Tesla? And he said the best way to sell any product is through word of mouth. So we knew. The key is to have a product people really, really love. So we are super lucky to have a product people love. Books. They're crazy about them. I wanted to host a party so that I could tell all my friends about these books. They're so amazing. But we don't design those or replicate them. That's done for us very well. But we do have to design and engineer and replicate these parties. We have to design the party content and make sure that it's replicated well through our team. So how do we make sure that that's a product that's replicated well enough through our team that everybody loves it and wants more of it? So we're going to talk about party essential components, 4 of them: consultant leadership, entertainment and laughs, value, and service. And as we go through these 4 components, you might be thinking, my parties totally have all of this going on. But what I want you to ask yourself is, does my team have all of these components in their parties going on? Even their 5th and their 6th party. Every single one, every component. So let's talk about consultant leadership first. And I'm going to show you a screenshot later on that made me think of that term, consultant leadership, because this is their first opportunity to shine as a leader. Even in their launch party, they are leading guests through a party experience. They are not just letting this thing fly and they're like, hey, I'm here, ready, when you want to order. They are leading people through this party, and they do it through some different ways. Here's some ways that we like to do them. Live, pre-recorded video, if they're not into the live thing, pictures of themselves, of their family, of their life, of their favorite books, their profile picture. This may seem so small. Every single thing that they post online, if it's on Facebook, they're gonna have a little picture next to those words, and if someone cannot get an idea of who you are, that you're faceless, they cannot relate to you. And so anytime I have a consultant who's about to do their first party and be like, I love your dog, he's so cute, let's get a picture of you up there so it doesn't look like your dog is running this party. Okay, so they need a profile picture that is of them as a leader of the party. They need to have energy and presence, whether that's in their live or it's in the comments that they're leaving, or it's just in their timeliness. They need to be energetic. And they need to be credible. They need to know what they're talking about when it comes to our products. Number 2, entertainment. Organic laughs, genuine, relevant to the conversation surrounding books would be nice. Not something that's just funny because it's funny, but wow, we're talking about these books specifically and we're having a great time. Value. So our books have so many benefits, but one of the best things I ever heard from our favorite keynote who never came to convention, Roy Vaden, was that without a problem, we don't have a solution. You have to sell them on the problem before you sell them on the solution. Guess what? Everybody doesn't really understand why reading is important. It's sad for me to say that, but doing booths has really helped me see that in real life. See people come up and just not have read to their 2-year-old yet, because why would I? He can't talk. They don't know. And it's our job to tell them what this benefit is, but we first have to tell them the problem. What happens if they don't, okay? And then ideas, tips, benefits. We educate them. We show them how to use the books, not just what they are and what the inside looks like, but this is how I use this book with my kid, and then he was able to do this. and inspire them. Inspire them to live a certain lifestyle that we are so blessed to live with these books in our life. And the last one is service. And this one is full of assumptions. I sometimes just assume because I'm on autopilot running my parties that people know how to do this stuff. And this one's an easy fix, how to maneuver their website, okay? And how to save money. People want to know how to save money. Do all of your team's party guests come to parties knowing how they can get the best value that night? What books? I'm telling you guys, that sounds simple, but it was a while before I was like, these customer specials are a really good deal. I should probably make sure all my party guests know about them. And like really not know about them, not just put the graphic up there and be like, here's customer specials. What books suit their kids? The first party I ever went to, I mean, we had tons of books. We read all the time. I had a 17-month-old. I did not even know where to begin. Katie, you might remember me commenting at Kat's party being like, can you recommend something? I had no clue. My kid, he's 17 months old, he likes writing. And they don't know, and they will be slow to order if they cannot figure it out. So we have got to help them figure that out. And when they need to get their order in, they don't know unless we tell them multiple times. So that's a form of service. I just have some examples. I wanted to show from senior director all the way down to consultants how this is replicated. Not just us having our parties, but how even at the consultant level, it all looks the same. We're all following the same model. We all have the same party components. So we got Robin with her mask on, my sweet husband in the elf costume, and Christy's kid getting her foot up there with a rhino toenail. And something about maybe like downloading the slides. I didn't download fully, but if you could see this picture, it would be Deanne, an exec, holding up the poop book and comments of people saying poop jokes, having a great time talking about the books. Tara, great picture of her kids and what their favorite books are. Somebody can come to that party and instantly relate to Tara and like her and think her kids are so cute and just get sucked in. And then again, these didn't download right, but team leaders. These are examples of team leaders doing the same thing, making their parties fun, having energy, having presence. Mallory's over there holding up the Real Out family, talking about that in her live, talking about the value. They are being leaders in their party. This is the girl that I was saying made me think of consultant leadership. She shared this. I asked all of my team to share screenshots of their parties where they demonstrated these things. And I read all of her comments and I thought, you're a great leader, just with your guests, the way you're interacting with them. This isn't a live, it's just the way she was conversing with them. She's leading them through the party so well. And then these are consultants. These are not leaders. These are consultants who are following the same model, putting their face out there, making it fun, having energy, talking about the value. We have reading tips over here. And then people talking about how much they enjoyed it. Somebody said, I just realized that Usborne Books and More parties are the equivalent of going to the book fair when you're a kid. And just seeing that this is a product that people can love. Parties, not just the books, but also parties are a product that people can love so much that they are eager to sign up and host and sign up to sell. Now, we talked about how it's harder for us to replicate because we don't program, we are not robots to be programmed. We have human consultants with a lot going on. It takes more than, here's the template, here's how you have a party, off on your way. It takes consistent reiteration, call it hand-holding, I don't know. It takes a little bit more than what sometimes we are willing to give. So 4 essential components to replicating your party model that you have consistently set up for yourself in your personal business. Executive leadership, team leader coaching, clarity, and simplicity. So let's talk about these. Executive leadership. Whether you are an executive and you have an executive Uzzy buddy, or you work on a larger team with a bunch of executives, when we finally figured out, like, gosh, we all have different strengths, and we could all just be doing one thing instead of 12. Let's work together. It really worked out a lot better. So get a group of executives that you can work with on your team to do some of these things. Teach foundational skills. Fundamental is probably the word I meant to use. Fundamental skills to the group, create a community focused on progress instead of problems, and provide and/or organize collaboration to design your party content. Those are things that we should, as executive leaders, be providing consistently, not just once, one and done, but consistently to our teams. Team leader coaching. This is all the stuff that happens behind the scenes with your team leaders that they should be doing. They need to have central group members shadow their own parties. It's a huge red flag when you have a team leader who sells $4,000 a month and they can't promote out a leader. They're not replicating their awesome party model. They have a great party model, but it doesn't matter if they can't replicate it. So you need to talk to them and say, hey, you have great parties. How can we get this replicated in your central group? And so they need to have people shadowing their parties. Share snippets of their own host coaching conversations. Just make sure you crop out people's names. One time I shared a host conversation to my host. That was awkward. But share new ideas. She was really cool about it. She's Mary Kay. Share new ideas and noteworthy party moments with the whole team. Let your team leaders know that if you have something awesome happen in a party, share it, because it's contagious. People go, oh, I can't wait to try that in my party. Oh, you had a great party and you did this? That's so awesome. It's very contagious, the success that happens in parties being shared. Catching party problems before they happen. This is where people freak out about time, but if people are watching your party, you're already doing the party. You're not watching their party. They're watching your party. You're doing the party. You have a problem come up. Are y'all dimming the lights on me? And then, I'm just kidding. And then you go, you know what, this problem is about to happen and this is how we're gonna fix it. And you talk to them about that. You're already working your personal business, but guess what? You're using it as an opportunity to coach your team at the same time. Clarity, making instructions and resources crystal clear. I hand everything that I make to my husband, and I go, here, can you figure this out? Can you go do this party? Can you follow these instructions? Because if he can do it, probably anybody who joins my team can. Fewest words possible. Don't just tell them the outcome, tell them exactly what they need to do in order to get that outcome. As a middle school band director, it wasn't enough for me to be like, let's do that again at measure 12, and we really need to balance the sound more. I had to say, tubas play louder, flutes play softer, balance. So don't just tell them what you want the outcome to be, but how to get it. Simplicity. Just like Harry was talking about, they only have so much time. They need to be able to do things with the time that they have. And so make everything very simple, resources easy to find. You need to know how long it takes to do things that you're asking them to do, and you will only know that if you're doing it yourself with your personal business. So here are some examples, teaching them, when you're describing the books, let's use verbs instead of adjectives. Mary Ann showing some funny pictures from her live. She's a leader. I shared a recording of a live from my party with the exact words and the call to action written out as a script that they could read off and practice. And then some team leaders sharing some fun things from their parties. Always sharing. Reflect. Which party component right now is going to make the biggest difference for your own personal business and for your team business to improve? Pick one and focus on that area when we get back. Consult leadership, entertainment, value, or service. Which production component, when you're replicating, do you need to work on? Executive leadership, do you need to do better about providing resources together and working together? Team leader coaching behind the scenes. Clarity in your resources. Simplicity. And if you want to build it big, don't let yourself go here. I'm going to do this many parties a month to maintain my business. That's so boring. Don't do that. I'm going to exponentially grow my team and my income by designing, engineering, and producing parties through leaders. This is not exact and it's not a promise, but it's a good thing to look out for. The greens are going to kill me because it's not exact or whatever. But I did some surveys and looked at my own sales and looked at other leaders' sales. And if you have 35 leaders, let's look beyond 2019. I'm a 7 Enneagram. Let's look at 2020. If you want to make $100,000 in 2020, you want to have 35 leaders in your total group, and you want them all to be averaging $5,000 a month in central group. That's average. And if they're doing all of these party components and replication, you should reach 2.1 million total group. And that will be about 6,300 parties that you replicated. You can never do 6,300 parties by yourself, but you need to do them yourself in order to replicate them. And then, so that means that in 2019, whether you're a brand new exec or you're lacking a couple of leaders for senior director, you need to add that many leaders to your total group. And you're gonna have to have about 8 to 16 parties a month minimum in order to do that. So make your own goal right now. Decide how many times you're gonna party every single month. Your personal business is not something to maintain. It's a model that you design, engineer, and produce on a large scale through leaders, and that is exciting.